We're all eagerly looking forward to 2025, especially when it comes to advancements in AI. There are numerous themes and innovations to anticipate, but one company that continues to capture everyone's attention is, of course, OpenAI. Recently, Sam Altman shared a detailed Twitter thread outlining what's ahead. In this video, we'll take a closer look at what OpenAI has planned for 2025 and explore the broader advancements in the AI landscape. One of the things we're likely to see, perhaps surprisingly, is some significant updates to voice mode features. A user shared that when they interact with the advanced voice mode, they wish it had a better memory of previous conversations, both verbal and text-based. They mentioned that if the system operated as a retrieval augmented generation model, it would improve the experience. The user explained that they enjoy using voice mode for brainstorming sessions during their commute, but they often find themselves needing to repeat or re-explain details, which can be frustrating. Sam Altman also weighed in, saying he's eager to tackle this challenge, which highlights not just potential voice mode changes, but also advancements in memory capabilities. In a recent video, I discussed how memory is likely to become a key focus in 2025. It seems this feature could revolutionize how we interact with AI, making our conversations more seamless and intuitive.
And so it just doesn't forget, which is truly transformative. I mean, you talk about inflection points. Memory is clearly an inflection point because it means that it's worth you investing the time. So it's that capability alone, which I expect to come online in 2025, is going to be truly transformative.
If you're not familiar, that was Mustafa Swan. He's currently the head of Microsoft AI. It's widely recognized that Microsoft AI collaborates closely with OpenAI to develop innovative products and services, making it highly likely that we'll soon see some kind of OpenAI model equipped with virtually limitless memory. Today, we received an update from a technical staff member at OpenAI. Rune responded to a tweet that caught a lot of attention. In the tweet, a user mentioned, "The user interface has vastly improved, but $200 per month without any increase in user memory feels off." What's the outlook on that? Rune's response was short but exciting. Soon, infinite memory. I'll also share a clip from one of my recent videos where I discussed how achieving infinite memory for large language models, LLMs, by 2025 seems highly probable. This advancement would be a groundbreaking achievement for the field. In voice mode, we've seen some notable improvements, particularly in detecting and managing voice chats. For example, in the past, when you were pausing to think about how to respond, the AI might start rambling about something completely unrelated. Thankfully, this issue has been addressed. Now, the AI allows you the necessary time to gather your thoughts and craft your response, making conversations feel more natural and fluid. One of the biggest questions many people continue to ask OpenAI is, where is the replacement for GPT-4? We received some insightful feedback from a user, Leo, who shared some key expectations. He mentioned wanting a robust photo replacement system, fully integrated into ChatGPT, possibly as part of a subscription plan in the range of $50 to $70 per month. Leo also emphasized the need for features like long context capabilities, effectively infinite memory, a knowledge cutoff, and regular aggressive updates. He concluded by saying that this list represents a strong starting point, and OpenAI is hopeful users will be satisfied with the improvements coming in the next year. From these suggestions, it seems likely that OpenAI might introduce a middle ground pricing tier. Currently, the gap between the $20 and $200 plans is quite significant, and many users would benefit from a more flexible payment structure. Some users, for instance, might prefer a pay-as-you-go model, where they are charged based on usage rather than a fixed rate. This approach could appeal to those who only interact with the AI occasionally and don't want to commit to a high-cost subscription. Similar systems have been suggested for Claude AI, and a similar option for ChatGPT could be well received. A major upcoming feature that stands out is the replacement for GPT-4, referred to as GPT-4T, or simply 4T. This next-generation model will likely serve as a foundational omni model, designed to handle a broad range of applications. For most users, It promises to deliver improved performance while catering to demanding tasks that the earlier models, like GPT 4.0, might not have been optimized for. This makes GPT-4T an exciting development to watch for in the AI space. You can see in this response to another tweet from a user named Sully, who says, "Honestly, GPT 4.0 kind of sucks now, and even GPT-4 Mini isn't that great. I think having both is important." The reply confirms that OpenAI is definitely planning to address this. We know they're actively working on a new model. In fact, a recent article discussed how this upcoming model is expected to be significantly better than the current GPT 4.0. However, the cost of running the new model might not justify the marginal improvements in performance. Another challenge is that OpenAI doesn't currently have enough compute resources to fully serve their users, particularly for modes like GPT-4 Pro or even the upcoming GPT 4.03. As a result, smaller models like GPT-4 Mini might not be their top priority right now. That said, it's likely we'll see a successor to GPT 4.0 next year, which could be a remarkable upgrade. There's also been ongoing speculation about GPT-5. Last year, many people were already anticipating its development, and it remains an exciting possibility moving forward. One interesting feature we might see is the introduction of a potentially unrestricted or liberated mode. This concept is quite amusing, particularly because of a figure in the AI community known as Ply the Liberator. For those outside the AI space, Ply is a well-known figure notorious for jailbreaking large language models. Essentially, no matter how secure a model appears or how stringent its safety measures are, Ply somehow always manages to bypass those safeguards. His expertise lies in finding ways to enable AI to answer questions or perform tasks that are typically restricted, sometimes even venturing into controversial or prohibited areas. For example, if an AI is programmed not to respond to certain sensitive or off-limits queries, Ply often discovers a method to override these limitations. His track record is impressive, and he seems to succeed every time. Interestingly, Ply once suggested removing all guardrails entirely, claiming it would result in a cleaner and more straightforward system. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, responded by acknowledging the potential need for a grown-up mode. This idea is compelling, as many users turn to open-source or unrestricted models precisely because they allow for creative and uninhibited exploration, particularly in areas that mainstream models tend to restrict. While these restrictions are often driven by policies or ethical considerations, the prospect of a grown-up mode, where users can freely ask anything and are trusted to use the model responsibly, is intriguing. If implemented, it could open new possibilities for AI interaction. We'll have to wait and see if such a feature becomes a reality in the coming year. Another feature that we're expected to see in 2025 is one that has already been introduced by Google. A user suggested, "Do a deep research feature like Gemini, but better." And Salman responded, "Okay." Now, if you're not familiar with what deep research is from Gemini, I'll start by explaining it to you. It's similar to a search engine for AI, specifically designed to work with the current LLMs, large language models, of your choice. Essentially, it's a powerful tool that lets you explore the web and find different pieces of information with remarkable efficiency. OpenAI has developed their own Search GPT model, which you can see right here. This model allows you to browse the internet using ChatGPT. While this is definitely a useful feature, I believe there are some areas where deeper insights are needed, which is why Gemini's deep research feature stands out. OpenAI has mentioned they are working on improving this, which will be interesting to watch, especially since their products are known for their top-tier user interfaces and strong positioning in the market. Now, something truly fascinating that OpenAI recently discussed is their plan to venture into hardware development. As you can see, this user managed to ask Sam Altman a range of questions about different aspects of this hardware initiative, including the Retrieval API and the possibility of video input functionality. Of course, we'd all love to see this, and it's certainly exciting, especially when considering the potential of AI agents and the overall hardware strategy. Regarding video input, this is something OpenAI has already teased with GPT-4. However, I believe the main hurdle might be the high computational costs, which is likely why we haven't seen it implemented just yet. But now, it seems we're really starting to discuss the possibility of a hardware-focused approach. This is something that, apparently, OpenAI is already working on now. Jony Ive has confirmed that he's developing a new device in collaboration with OpenAI. He's the same person who previously worked at Apple on the iPhone. Currently, he's working with a team of 10 employees, including people who previously worked on the iPhone, at a 32,000 square foot office in San Francisco. They're developing an exciting new generative AI device, which promises to be really intriguing. This year, we've seen the release of various devices, some of which haven't performed well, like the Humane Pin, which didn't do as expected. However, there have also been successes in the AI hardware space, such as the Friend Tab and the Rabbit R1, which have been quite impressive. It will be fascinating to see how these new AI products perform and whether OpenAI can succeed with its own offering. I'm not sure if this product will launch in 2025, but creating hardware is a huge challenge. While we might not be at the absolute limits of large language models, we are definitely in a phase where companies are figuring out how to best implement these technologies. This is why we're seeing a variety of products like notebook LMs, search tools, deep research solutions, and agentic products. I believe that research into improving GPT models might slow down a bit, but the real growth will be in the development of products that make creative use of these models in exciting new ways. How long it will take for OpenAI's product to be ready is uncertain, but ideally, they'd want it to be really polished. There's a lot that can happen in a year, so this is definitely something to keep an eye on. One of the major topics currently trending in the community is OpenAI's video generation model, Sora. A user, Onsi Harry AI, recently mentioned, "Sam, I'd like to see more consistency with image and text prompts, as well as a more balanced content restriction policy." He also added that there are many improvements coming to Sora. This follows the community's reaction to OpenAI's model. For those who aren't familiar with the Sora versus OpenAI debate, here's a quick overview. Google released a video model that is significantly more advanced than OpenAI's Sora. As mentioned earlier, there are plenty of improvements on the way for Sora. He also replied to this person saying, "Just make Sora really, really good," and mentioned that this is definitely going to happen. Now, if you're not familiar with VO, maybe you've been living under a rock or just aren't up to date with the AI space, but VO is Google's video model. In this example from the Venture twins, we can see that between Sora and VO, VO excels in prompt adherence, physical motion, and all the key aspects you'd expect from a video model. This clearly demonstrates a significant improvement in video models, with Google taking a step forward in enhancing them. However, it's important to note that OpenAI is also continuously working on improving in this area. Another major development from OpenAI in 2025 will be the release of a proper AI agent. One of the sources that has been consistently covering OpenAI's progress has reported that they plan to launch this agent early next year, with a release expected in January. Of course, timelines may change due to AI advancements and global events, but it's clear that 2025 will be the year of AI agents. I actually made a video on this topic, and I'll include a segment here that dives deeper into the details. It's reported that OpenAI is preparing to launch a new AI agent, codenamed Operator, which can perform tasks on behalf of a user. This includes actions like writing code or booking travel, as confirmed by two sources familiar with the project. One of the most fascinating things I came across was the fact that this development took place during a staff meeting on Wednesday. Interestingly, there are plans to release this tool in January as a research preview. According to one of the sources, it will be available through the company's Application Programming Interface, API, for developers. The person who shared this information did so anonymously as they were discussing internal matters. What's important to highlight here is that the leadership intends to launch the tool in January as a research preview, specifically targeting developers through an API. This terminology usually indicates a limited release aimed at researchers and developers, rather than a widespread public launch. Research previews typically involve access restrictions to specific groups, such as those in developer or research programs, and are not available to the general public right away. This approach makes sense, as they likely plan to test the tool, gather feedback, and then release it to a wider audience. So, for those of you hoping for a full public release of the tool in January, it's more likely that it won't be available just yet. It will probably be released later in the year. January will likely see the launch of GPT-5/Orion instead, as they continue to fine-tune the details. Now, in response to this, at 14:02, you can hear someone mention proper agents, and then he responds with, "Happy 2025." One key thing that I think most people are overlooking when it comes to 2025 is how rapidly AI is likely to advance. You might be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, benchmarks are going to be shattered, and here's why. If we look at a researcher from OpenAI, Jason Wei, he points out that GPT-3 is highly efficient. More importantly, the progress from GPT-1 to GPT-3 happened in just 3 months, which highlights how quickly advancements will occur in the new era of reinforcement learning, chain-of-thought reasoning, and scalable inference computation. This is much faster than the traditional pre-training paradigm, where new models typically emerge every 1 to 2 years. Essentially, we're seeing a massive acceleration in progress. We've witnessed significant improvements in AI recently. For instance, between the first preview, first, and third models, only 3 months have passed. This is a stark contrast to how things used to be, where you'd have a gap of a year for GPT-3, another year for GPT-4, and then 6 months of data collection followed by months of model training. The rapid pace of development now suggests that models no longer require that much time to improve. It's going to be fascinating to see how many advancements we experience. If we've already seen the 3 version, it's likely we'll go through 4 more iterations by the end of 2025, meaning we could be looking at models 4, 5, 6, and even 7.7. By the time we reach the 7th version, it's hard to even imagine how advanced the model could be. Of course, this assumes everything goes smoothly and there are no major setbacks. The world is unpredictable, and there's always the possibility of unexpected events, such as the collapse of major AI companies. But one thing is certain, with many companies also working on AI models, and the era of pre-training coming to an end, the AI field is about to evolve even faster. Thanks for watching! Be sure to stay tuned for more exciting updates on AI developments. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out.